It's Overreaction Monday here at Saints Now by Chat Sports, but before we dive into that video, I just got to say thank you so much, Who Dat Nation, because we crossed 34,000 subscribers. Once again, one of our watch parties crossed over 100,000 views. We hit our milestone, and you guys continue to show up and continue to show out. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. And without further ado, let's dive into the Overreaction Monday. Friendly reminder, we're on the road to 35K, so hit that sub button. Now, in case you guys don't know what's going on here, this is your first Overreaction Monday. This is a new graphic and a new segment we're doing here on the channel. So what we got here is a Who Dat meter. So one Who Dat, it's like 25% accurate. Two Who Dats, it's like 50%, not really, sort of, kind of. Three Who Dats, it's kind of likely 75%. Four Who Dats, you best believe it. So let's dive into the first overreaction, and this is, just for the record, not necessarily all my opinions, all my thoughts. A lot of this I see on social media, and I just want to give my take and get my reaction to it. So the first one's trade away Paulson Adebo. I'm going to actually give this one 2 Who Dats. I don't want to do it, but I'm also kind of in the camp of it sort of makes sense, and I'm not against it right now. Because when it comes to Paulson Adebo, he is actually going to be a free agent this upcoming offseason. And, going into this year, he really built himself a very highly respected resume. And he started to play some really, really good football last year and really took the league by storm, especially because Marshon Lattimore's been missing. And he has been the guy who's answered the calls over the past 2 years when Lattimore's been dealing with injuries. And there is, no doubt about it. This season specifically, there has been a lot of ups and downs. We saw the interception against the Dallas Cowboys. We got the interception against the Falcons yesterday. Like, that's all great and fine and dandy. He's averaging 13.4 yards per catch. He has 1 touchdown allowed, 32 tackles. 28 of those are solo. And with him, he might command a lot of money. There is that possibility, and especially as a corner, they're making good cash. If you have a kid that wants to play football, cornerback might be a good option to try and encourage him to play, because Paulson Adebo might cash in. And if you're not going to bring him back and you'd rather keep Marshon Lattimore, why not try and get something for him, And let's take a look at the advanced numbers, because it's not like he's been bad. He hasn't been bad, but he's been frustrating to say the least. And I think we can all agree at a lot of times this year there has been some frustrations. In terms of the completion percentage allowed, he has been pretty okay with that, 60%. Yards per target is pretty solid, or pretty high at 7.6. The yards per completion, 12.7. And he does have a passer rating allowed of 67.2 yards, or not yards, 60.27 is his passer rating allowed. In terms of the PFF grade and coverage, he's been a 61.0, a run defense 63.9, an overall of 62.1. And this is also a player, just looking at it, because I forgot to check it out beforehand, when it comes to the penalties and stuff, I'm not seeing him as a highly penalized player. I'm going to have to do a little bit more research, but he does have a lot of penalties at very inopportune times. That's what I will say. The point, what I'm trying to get to, is with Paulson Adebo, there were key moments in this past game against the Falcons where it's like, dude, what are we doing? Why is this a penalty? I will say, kind of felt a little bit soft. You can't really argue with it. Whatever. It's a penalty nonetheless. But, I also think if you were to trade away Paulson Adebo, you have some good options behind him. You drafted Kool-Aid McKinstry in the second round this past year. You also got Rico Payton on the roster, who is a UDFA who made the roster this year, and he's pretty talented. And then on top of that, we've seen Alontae Taylor be successful in outside and on the inside and stuff. So, with him, I just want to see him continue to grow and as a key factor of the Saints defense. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I don't want to upset anybody, but it's just really hard to justify keeping both Paulson Adebo and Marshon Lattimore this year. Again, I know that I said he wasn't a highly penalized player, but there were a lot of penalties. There has been a considerable amount of, bad plays here and there, missed plays, but there's also been a lot of good moments and stuff too. And that's the thing with Paulson Adebo. But the other part of it with Marshon Lattimore is he's missed a lot of games over the past 2 seasons. And then even this year, he's already missed some time. So it's kind of one of those tough situations. Where do you want to go with all of this? So I'll ask you. I'm not necessarily sure what I would want to do. What would you do? It's your turn to be the GM. Would you trade Paulson Adebo, type T for trade? Would you keep him, type K for keep? I can understand both sides of it. I'm okay with keeping Paulson Adebo and let him play and let him try to earn a nice check somewhere else. But I'm also kind of in the camp of, things are kind of hurting and we get closer to the trade deadline and the team's not playing well, then maybe this is something we actually consider. Now let's get into another overreaction. And this one is truly from me. I was talking in the office and I was just like, I said it out loud and I was like, this is perfect for this show. Spinzone, if we keep losing football games and Klint Kubiak's offense keeps not winning, we could have Klint Kubiak and Spencer Rattler in 2025. I'll give it 3 Hoodats. I'll give it 3, 75%. I got 4 reasons why, and we're going to go through it here in a second. But I got to tell you really quickly about today's presenting sponsor, and that is Game Time, one of my favorite ticketing apps in the whole wide world. And it's actually not one of, it is the best ticketing app in the whole wide world. When you download the Game Time app, you create an account and use code CHATSPORTS. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. And you can use those savings just like I did to get yourself some gear, or maybe some concessions at a concert or comedy show, or even a live event that you're headed to. It doesn't have to just be sporting events. And it doesn't have to just be in Louisiana. It doesn't have to be just in Texas, Mississippi, Georgia. You can get tickets all across the country. And Game Time has this new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. And Game Time Picks actually filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals. That way you don't have to waste a bunch of time searching through searching through seats that you're like, I'm not interested. I don't want to look at that. And on top of that, it's such an easy to use app and it's such a cool use app. Very user friendly. You can see all of the games they got going on really quick. I want to just point this out. It's Thursday Night Football. They got like fun little deals. They got fun little stuff going on. They got fun little promos and giveaways. There's like big special things happening around the game, around the event. They'll let you know, which is actually pretty cool. So you can get tickets to that Thursday night game. We have them available already if you want to get yourself some. Sean Payton coming back to the Dome. Thursday Night Football, prime time. Make sure you put in your PTO request Monday or for Friday morning because Thursday night it's going down. But you can also go check out the LSU Tigers. So if you want to go get yourself some tickets to any live event, whether it's sports, concerts, or comedy shows, check out the Game Time app. Create an account and use code CHATSPORTS to get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but once again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So let's talk about Kubiak plus Spencer Rattler. So, when we were first in the when we were in the first couple of weeks, let me just start with that. When we were in the first couple of weeks of the season, the Saints had the highest flying offense. The defense was playing lights out. It wasn't ridiculous to sit here and say, oh, shoot, Klint Kubiak could be on the way out because good coordinators get poached to be head coaches. That's a real thing. So, that is something that could happen here. He could still draw head coach interest if the offense does turn it up and does get back on track. I will also say this, even if it doesn't wildly blow the league away, he could still do some good things, but I will say this, with more losses and with less positive offensive play, you'll get less interest. And I will say this, it's not like the Saints offense has been all that bad. But this is a league where it comes down to, wins and losses. That's what's important. When I'm looking at the numbers right now, according to teamrankings.com, a very cool site to check out a lot of information, just in terms of where the teams rank. The Saints offense still ranks number 1 in points per game at 31.8 points per game. They still rank number 8 in yards per game at 349. They still rank number 2 in third down conversion rate. They still rank number 2 in red zone scoring percentage with 75%. So it's not like the Saints offense has been terrible. They just haven't been able to close out games, and the defense hasn't been able to close things out too. So, with more losses, maybe there's less interest, but there still could be some. So, what about Spencer Rattler? Well, I do believe that Spencer Rattler is the future. Before I get to my next point, I'm going to explain what I mean here. I believe Spencer Rattler is the future, and I believe Klint Kubiak and Spencer Rattler are a good tandem together, especially considering Klint Kubiak was not the offensive coordinator last year. Most of the offensive staff from last year has been wiped away and replaced. And it's Kubiak's staff now, not Pete Carmichael's staff. Carmichael's staff drafted Haener. Kubiak's staff drafted Rattler. And to be honest, it's nothing against Haener. I just liked Rattler more during the preseason. And I'm trying to make this point explicitly clear. For some reason, anytime I talk positively about Spencer Rattler, it's immediately, I hate Jake Haener. I think that Spencer Rattler should be QB1 right now. None of that's true. None of that is true. But I do believe that Spencer Rattler can be the future. When we saw him play in the preseason, we saw him deliver a hell of a run to score a touchdown against Arizona. We also saw him drive all the way down the field to get a game-winning kick that was set up or to set up a game-winning kick for Charlie Smith, and he was the only quarterback who did that. Like, Jake Haener didn't go out and throw for a touchdown or lead down to a touchdown drive. Derek Carr didn't in his first drive. Like, Spencer Rattler's first drive, he went down. I don't remember if it was the first drive, but in that Cardinals preseason game, he was really, really good. He was pretty solid against the Titans, and he was solid again in the third preseason game. My point all being, the Titans was week 3, Niners week 2, whatever. Point being, Niners, Titans, Cardinals, we saw him play pretty solid in the preseason. Again, I don't hate Jake Haener, but I think that Klint Kubiak plus Spencer Rattler, it could be a nice little tandem, and I hope that we can possibly see it. So, the spin zone here, trying to kind of tie this all back to the show. The spin zone, maybe we keep losing. Maybe things keep going bad. Well, maybe get Spencer Rattler, Klint Kubiak to take over, and you don't have to deal with Dennis Allen, Derek Carr anymore. So there you have it. That's my spin zone for you. I'll give it 3 Whodats. Now, if you want Spencer Rattler to be the quarterback, I'm not saying right now. I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm not saying even in 2 weeks. I'm not saying even by the end of this season. I'm just saying in general, if tomorrow through the next 5 years, at some point in that time, if you want Spencer Rattler to be the quarterback, I need you to drop a like on today's video. All right, now this is a wild overreaction I saw on social media. This is ridiculous. Fake news. Massively, massively fake news. Bench Rashid Shaheed. Are you kidding me? Like, what? What are we doing here? Why are we talking about this? That's ridiculous. Rashid Shaheed has been one of the, let me rephrase. Rashid Shaheed is the most electric player with the football in his hands. Look at the stats. At the production. Granted, against the Eagles, he was locked up. Didn't have a single catch. Not a good game from him. That being said, shut up, Chip. That being said, when you're doing stuff like this picture, like, unacceptable. What the hell are we doing here? The whole reason Rashid Shaheed made the roster when he was signed out of Weber State as an undrafted free agent was because of his return ability. He was lethal at Weber State. And then you see him do this nonsense. We've seen him do some really, really special things on special teams. That's kind of bars right there. I'm not going to lie. Did not know that was going to be coming off the dome. My point being, when you're inside the 5, what the hell are you doing? Why are you trying to fair catch a ball and run backwards to bring? What are you doing? You learned this in Pee Wee football. You learned this in 6th grade. Take a step back. Put your hands bubbles and DuckTales if you have to. Watch it. Go into the end zone. Don't touch it. Get the hell out of the way. Like, this was unbelievable. When you start the game off like this, shooting yourself in the foot and giving them 7 points, just here you go. Free 7 points. Of course you're going to have to start digging yourself out of a hole, and of course it's going to be frustrating. But why I'm not in the camp of bench Rashid Shaheed, it's because it's a stupid idea. He has been so good for the New Orleans Saints. He's been one of the top producing receivers for New Orleans. He's been one of the top offensive weapons for New Orleans. And Dennis Allen was even frustrated with it. But hey, I don't think he was wrong in saying this. It was a bad decision. We don't ever want to field that ball. He understands it. I believe Rashid Shaheed knows it too. To be honest, I think it was I'm going to try and make a play here. This is a rivalry game. I want to do something special. I want to bring it to him. And he just made a mistake. Dennis Allen even says it. It was uncharacteristic of him. I'm willing to look past it. I'm willing to forgive it and everything because he has been productive as a return man in general. I mean, look at the numbers. Kick return over 100 return yards on 4 attempts. In terms of the punts, 77 yards on 6 attempts. He has a long of 47 yards. Like, I am not in the camp of get Rashid Shaheed off the field. I'm in the camp of continue to give him reps, continue to give him opportunities, but don't force feed him the ball. That's not what you need to be doing. Too much Derek Carr was doing that yesterday against the Falcons. And fun fact, Rashid Shaheed reached, this is according to PFF, he had double-digit targets for the first time in his career against the Atlanta Falcons. According to PFF, that's what they're saying. So I'm not in the camp of get him off the field. I'm in the camp of get him to bounce back. If that means more opportunities, if that means give him the ball, give him chances to score, and you got to do it, okay, fine, whatever. But don't force feed him. But the point is, and the big thing is, we need Rashid Shaheed to bounce back. He was solid outside of the punt return, and that's a big, big, big mistake. Outside of that, he wasn't terrible. But we got to get him back on track. We got to get that deep throw. We got to get that deep ball back into the playbook because it has been completely taken away, and it's been a massive credit to the opponents that they've been playing against and their defensive backs and the safeties. So, Sheed, we need you. And if you need that, if you have the need for, damn it, I messed it up, Chip. I even invented this thing, and I messed it up. If you have the need for Shaheed, then I need you to type Sheed in the comment section. All righty, guys, I am heading on out of here for the day. Got a little Monday Night Football to watch and hang out. So if you guys want to, enjoy Monday Night Football, I encourage you. Because I'm going to be tweeting out my thoughts. Hit me up on social media all throughout the game. I got the links in the comment section for all 3 accounts. Don't feel free to don't feel free. Don't be scared to DM me. Feel free to DM me. I love chopping it up with Saints fans. I love chopping it up on social media. So hit me up. Y'all stay golden. We'll see you next time.